Welcome back to Briggs on Books, a truly international talk show. We've been talking to authors from all over the world this week, from Europe to South Africa, Canada. We have a lot of Canadian authors we talk to, and I love to talk to authors, so what a great job I have. By the way, our guest today is coming to us, I think, from Ventura, California, the Reverend Bonnie Rose. Welcome, Bonnie.
Hi, Mike. Good to see you. Thank you.
Actually, your title says Bonnie Rose. It's okay to say
Uh,
Reverend.
you can call me Bonnie Rose or Reverend Bonnie Rose. I answer to both.
Now, where are you right now?
I'm in my office at the Church of Ventura Center for Spiritual Living, and it's in Ventura, California.
What a coincidence. I just happen to have a picture of it, and it's on the screen. And
What a coincidence.
let
Oh
me
my
say
goodness.
this is probably the most beautiful church I've seen.
Yeah.
What's the style? You told me this before, but I don't remember now.
So it's Mayan architecture,
Mayan.
and the people who built the church they weren't from our denomination, but they were fascinated by Mayan architecture. So they hired Robert Stacy Judd, who was an architect in kind of the Art Deco period, and he designed it. And I think it's one of the only Mayan ecclesiastical buildings in North America.
And was it built for you guys, or was it a different church before?
No, it was built for the Baptists, for the
For the
Southern
Baptists.
Baptists.
Very
Yeah.
good, very good. Now, I talked about that church all day long. I forget that's not what we're talking about. I'm going to put a copy of this book cover up. Dances with Dogs. Tell us about
Yes.
that.
So Dances with Dogs is a memoir. It's a story about many of the things that I've done in my life. And the theme of the book is basically about overcoming fear and insecurity. I did a lot of what some people would call interesting things. I was a nurse and a singer, and an opera singer actually, and an actress. And I also was a cat handler for a Broadway show. And then I became a minister, and throughout all of it, there was kind of this undercurrent of insecurity, which I found out was basically looking at life through a lens of unhealed shame. And so the story is about my journey and all the things I tried that didn't work, and then the things that I tried that did work that finally brought me to a place of great joy and peace and equanimity.
Tell me, who's the book for?
The book is for anybody who's on a spiritual journey, but it's not your normal spiritual journey. Like there's a lot of comedy in it, and anybody also who is willing to look at their own personal responsibility in terms of shame and insecurity. You know, it's not that we're responsible for the things in our lives that shamed us, but more about how we can take charge and how we can overcome it, how we can apply spiritual tools and spiritual wisdom to help us become the great beings that we were meant to be.
Yeah, and sounds like a lot of people could use this book. It's
Yes.
mostly
Yeah.
for adults. Can teenagers make sense of it?
Yeah, I think so. I think teenagers can make sense of it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we've
Yeah.
discussed before, I love to give away books. So
Oh, yeah.
whenever I go to a party, you know, I used to take a bottle of wine or something for the host. Now I take books, and here's
That's
a book.
great.
So,
Thank you.
I want to encourage our viewers, don't buy a copy of this book. Buy 5 copies of the book. It's not very expensive, to tell you the truth, so they could do that and, you know, give them out. It's a good idea. But it's for people who've been through, I mean, a lot of people are traumatized at some point during childhood. Is that kind of
Yeah.
what it's addressing?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's funny because I almost felt embarrassed that I didn't have a more tragic childhood, and yet I still struggled with this stuff. Because
Yeah.
my parents were great. However, they raised us all to be overachievers in many ways, like socially and academically and athletically and musically. And so whenever I felt like I was falling short of somebody's expectations, you know, it started with my parents, but then it turned into others. And ultimately, I realized it was my own expectations. Then I would feel ashamed or like I wasn't good enough or that I was failing somehow.
Yeah.
And so the book is really about making peace with all of that, actually looking at it and befriending it and seeing that there's a holy purpose in all of that.
Yeah. Befriending it, that's interesting. But you have to face it. You have to dredge it up, I would imagine.
Yes, yeah, you do, but you can do it in a way that's not horribly painful. You know, it's kind of like I don't know. It's sort of like when you give an injection, like you just pop it in there. You know, I'm a former nurse, so I use a lot of nurse analogies. So you just kind of the first little stick in the skin is hard, but then once you start shining the light on whatever it is that you're struggling with, we start to feel this greater sense of
Yeah.
peace, and that it's not as powerful as we're making it. Brene Brown is an author that I quote occasionally in the book, and she says that shame thrives on secrecy and suppression. So if we're not looking at it, it's like, I liken it to, my husband and I had a little rodent issue in our house one time, and the rats were like just nibbling away at the wires in our house, and
Yeah.
we're just like, we don't want to know about that. But ultimately, we had to do something about it and look at it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how shame acts with us. It kind of nibbles away at our self-esteem and our capacity to be all that we're meant to be. And at some point, it's really wise and kind and loving to look at it without being ashamed of our shame, just looking at it and understanding that it's just part of being human.
Yeah, I get that analogy so well. Sometimes I just put the rats out of my mind. I know they're there.
Oh,
You just put same with the shame. You got to turn and face it and address it, I guess. Now,
Yeah.
I love to find out about the lives and personalities of authors. That's what attracts me to read their books. So I'm going to ask you some questions because you've had several careers.
Yes, I have.
What was your first or your big one?
Well, I've done ministry the longest, so I'd say that's my big one. But my first one, I got out of, first I wanted to be a veterinarian because my family always loved animals. But then I just didn't want to go to school that long, so I became a nurse for humans. And then while I was nursing, I went to school to learn how to sing opera. And then I was an opera singer and a nurse at the same time. And then I married an actor, and that led to some more acting jobs. And then ultimately, the biggest acting job that I had was acting in this national tour of a Broadway show that starred Julie Harris. And there was a live cat on stage, so I handled the cat and the cat's understudy.
What was the show?
It's called Lettuce and Lovage.
Okay.
Lettuce is Lettice, and lovage, which is a name for parsley. It's an herb.
Lettuce and lovage. Okay.
Lettuce and Lovage, yeah.
Now,
yeah.
do you have a favorite opera, by the way?
A favorite author?
Opera.
Oh, opera. Gosh.
Put you on the spot.
There's so many good ones. I like Puccini a lot.
Yeah.
I like Verdi's operas. I like La Boheme, I'd say.
Yeah. I studied Mozart quite a bit, so I love Don Giovanni and things like that. So
I forgot about him. He's great too.
Magic Flute and stuff. So.
Oh, beautiful operas. Yeah, just wonderful.
Yeah. And then you got to be a cat handler. And any crazy stories from that period?
Well, the whole thing was pretty crazy because I'd never been a cat handler before, but I just loved our cat so much. My husband got me a cat for Christmas one year, and the three of us, the cat, my husband, and I, were auditioning for the part, and then they decided that my cat was too beautiful. We actually had a cat psychiatrist come to the house to train our cat to be calm and patient, and oddly enough, it worked. It really worked.
Are cats good actors? I mean.
They're naturals. Let's put it that way.
But do they follow direction?
No.
Yeah.
No. And this was a really tricky scene because Julie Harris was the person who was working with the cat, and she had to hold her while she was running around on the stage and ringing doorbells and knocking on the door. Someone was banging on the door, and there was lots of yelling. And it was about a 10-minute scene.
Oh my goodness.
And I was always waiting backstage. And by the way, our cat ended up not getting the part.
Didn't
she was
get the
the
part.
understudy, and we had to get the cat to do the part. Yes. So I would be waiting on backstage for Grandma, the cat. We called her Grandma, and it was terrifying because you never knew what she was going to do.
Yeah.
Most of the time she was pretty good, but there was one time when I heard like snarling and screeching from the stage, and I looked over and she was trying to disembowel Julie Harris, and her claws were in her neck, and so I just pulled her off, and then I had the walk of shame back to the dressing room.
Well, I've been on many backstages, and sometimes the actresses are throwing their clothes off, doing a quick change. I can see them coming out and throwing you the cat and saying, "See ya."
Yeah, it wasn't quite throwing, but it was a very quick movement.
Quick
there.
change.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could talk to you about this stuff for hours, but the book.
Yeah.
Let's close out with the book. Where can they get it? By the way, we have your website on the screen. venturacsl.org.
Yeah. And that will link to the book website, but I decided to put that one up there because that one is, my book website is a little incomplete at the moment.
Okay.
Got a lot going on.
But also we have your Instagram up there. I found you on Instagram, and
Oh, did you?
that's an interesting spot. So, and by the way, I just went to your Amazon author page, and that's pretty cool too. So,
Great.
You're everywhere, Bonnie Rose.
I'm everywhere. There you go.
Anyway, last thoughts for our viewers?
No, just I just want to, I guess, let people know that you can have a really good life. We can all have a really good life. a large theme of the book is this idea that the kingdom of heaven, we call that in my denomination a state of consciousness, a state of deep well-being and peace and love and joy and happiness, that it's spread upon the earth, but we don't see it. The kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth, but we don't see it. We walk sightless among miracles, and this is a book about teaching us how to open our eyes so that we can see all of the miracles that are available for us right now.
You can see some of them. Well, it sounds like a book for everybody and anybody, and teenagers, adults. Anyway, thank you, Bonnie Rose. I always love to talk to you and hear your stories and anecdotes of your life. For our viewers, stick around. We'll be back with another author right after this on Briggs on Books.